that's going to do it for me here, guys. Thank you very much for having me. It was an absolute blast. My name is Yen24. I'm going to hand it over to High Def Loman. High Def Loman? I'll let him do it. Not the first name I got wrong today. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you later.
Hi, everybody. This is High Def Lomain. Glad to be here hosting for my first GDQ. We're all ready to go with Castlevania 64, and it looks like we had a huge last-minute donation of, let me see here, $500. It was an anonymous donation to put Reinhardt out in front. It's $500 from Anonymous. It says, "No one wants to see Carrie." So with that, we're going to hand it over to ty2358 and Castlevania 64.
All right. Well, thank you, Anonymous. Holy moly. You know, I'm not going to lie. I was hoping Reinhardt would get through. Since Reinhardt hasn't been in an SGDQ or any GDQ, it's all been carry. I'm actually kind of excited. First things first, I kind of just like to explain who I am. I am ty2358, world record holder of both categories. There aren't too many people that play Reinhardt, but I'm glad that you guys are along for the show. I'll definitely go along with it myself. There's not too much more to go. I guess we can get started here when we're ready. So indeed, I could use an alternative costume, but I'm not going to, just because it's kind of pink, and we're just going to be manly for today. So, all right, we will start this run in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, so nobody complain about there being no music in the Forest of Silence. It's like, if you go online for every single rating of this game, you'll just hear constant complaining about music, this and that make no sense really. It's like, of course there's not going to be music in the Forest of Silence. But again, we're playing as Reinhardt Schneider, the guy with the whip. And right off the bat, you're already just facing off against this giant skeleton that we like to call Bone Mom. I'm not entirely sure why. We can't really tell if it even is a mom. But it's just someone, buddy of mine, who I guess started calling it that. And I was like, all right, well, just keep it as Bone Mom. And I'm just trying to make sure that it goes for these swipe attacks. Usually it'll just run around, but if I put myself in specific spots, it'll do what I want it to do. I can manipulate what I need here. Reinhardt, in all honesty, is actually quite weaker than Carrie. Most people prefer Carrie just because she has magical orbs that'll just instantly go to the target, where Reinhardt's whip is very wonky, actually, and doesn't do as much damage in the beginning. For items, as you can see, we're going to have sub-weapons and some other stuff in the top right corner. We're dealing with the weapons along with jewels that we'll be picking up, which will be our sub-weapon ammo. And then, of course, on the top left, you got your time of day, since there is a day and night cycle, which will actually be a big part of this run as well, since vampires and other enemies later on in the game will actually have twice as much HP at nighttime, and us ourselves will also be stronger during the day. So I'll be picking up sun and moon cards, which will basically just bring time around so that I can make a daytime or nighttime, and use that to my advantage. Right off the bat, it's just going to be a lot of kind of mindless fighting, well, in a way. I mean, honestly, this guy, I'm not even going to look at him. I'm just going to kind of jump over here, and he'll just fall off the edge of the planet and die. It was nice knowing him. But again, we're basically trying to kill as many enemies as we can here, just so we can get power-ups or jewels or something. I have yet to get a single item, which is quite unfortunate, because the other thing about this, there is a lot of lag in this game, and if I want to keep that lag down, I need to kill as many skeletons as I can possibly kill. I'm surprised he died. So we're going to try and pick up as many power-ups as we can. I could grab those jewels, but I won't. Won't be needed. Grab a power-up here, which will make our whip a little bit longer. It doesn't really look all that much different, but there's a change there. So I'm doing a sequence break here. Essentially, you can only do some of these tricks on the 1.0 version of this game. And such as that. It's basically any kind of double jumping is not supposed to be allowed, but if you end up falling off a slope, you can jump, and then there's another jump that we like to call a task jump for whatever reason. Task jump, double jump, they're all the same, where, as you can see, there's going to be quite a bit of platforming going on in this game. And if I am to jump at the same time where I'm grabbing, I can do a double jump like that. I'll be trying to do quite a few of them throughout the run. They're just frame-perfect jumps that can be kind of a hassle. So that'll be our first grab of jewels. There's going to be another rock that I can break where I'll get 10 more and a power-up. So that'll basically complete what we need, since you can only get a maximum of 2 power-ups. I'm also going to wait for this guy just because he's being a jerk. As we find ourselves back to the next gate, which will open up the gate to the boss of this level. And then we can finally move on and hear some nice music to this game, even though I think the better music is towards the later parts of the game anyway. I guess at this moment I would like to have a big shout out to Narcissa and Winglebert and other people in the Castlevania community. I would not have been able to do this run without any of them. It's like ever since this was ran back in the day, no one really played it, and everyone thought the runs were completed, like perfect runs, thought it was over, and that basically was like, all right, game on, that's a challenge. So I ended up playing it myself for quite a while, and now have surpassed everybody. But definitely big shout outs to them. Winglebert, I will be bringing his name up a lot. He found a lot of these tricks. So again, we see Bone Mom again, and we're gonna have to try and put her back in the river where she was. I'm doing these specific jumps right at like crotch level, just so she walks towards me and swings. And she'll just plop off like so. As long as you get her in the right position, you can get her done. So Castle Wall will just be more we're just going to be climbing up for a little while, so if there's time for donations, you can definitely name a couple here.
Sure thing. I've got $50 from TurboDog70240. Was really glad to see Ty and all the shining friends at RPG Limit Break. Great work from Ty and Winglebert in really pushing CV64 constantly. Hope to see you at future events in Can We Trust? Runner's Choice.
Thank you, Turbo. Yeah, like I said, it's like if anyone who's, oh no, I'm actually might die from that. No, I didn't. Wasn't paying attention. That's okay though. So you saw me earlier use my moon card simply because I'm looking to go to a certain cutscene which will actually happen between the times of 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. And I am basically just making sure I will get there at the right time. Don't hurt me, Medusas. Alright. And the other kind of weird thing about this game, hopefully we won't see it like ever, but Reinhardt will actually have a, wow, this bat. Woo! I'm not even gonna bother. I'm gonna take my time with this. You aren't ruining this day. But I'm going to look for some more jewels here. More jewels the better, because I'm going to be using quite a few of them on this Hydra fight right here. I'm also going to try a trick that is completely inconsistent. that was found not too long ago. I don't really trust it to work, but if it does, it'll be a really nice time save where I can skip the second half of this castle wall. Basically, we started climbing the right tower, and there's a left tower skip that Winglebert found supposedly by random. I find that hard to believe. But it's really inconsistent. I found a way to make it consistent with carry, but as far as Reinhardt goes, I'm just going to have to back hop into this corner right here and hope that I can make it work. It might take a little bit of time if I get it, and if I don't, I could also very well die here. It's very dangerous. I didn't get it. Okay, we're just going to move on then. Luckily, since we don't have that many jewels, we will pick up a nice 50 of them here. And we can move on for sure. Luckily, that skip actually won't really affect when and how my moon card was used. Because I used it at such a late time that it's actually usually later than even a normal time would do. So we shouldn't have any problems. So this is, essentially we would have skipped all this if I was able to pull that off, but it's very inconsistent with the Reinhardt. Wasn't expecting to get it there. So another thing I would like to point out, I suppose, is between Carrie and Reinhardt is much bulkier than Carrie is. He doesn't jump as far or as high, which is weird. And there's also just some spaces that Carrie can reach that he can't. So there's definitely some skips that he won't be able to do that Carrie can. But at the same time, Reinhardt can do skips that Carrie can't do, which also makes no sense. You would think the smaller girl could fit into the spaces that this big guy can get into. Okay, nothing there. So typically, I'll kind of point those out as well while we get to some of these. So this is Villa. It's not a very hard level. We just have some dogs that we're going to have to take care of here. Hopefully I can take care of most of them with Holy Water, which is the sub-weapon that I picked up earlier. It's basically exactly how it sounds. You're just throwing down Holy Water, but the thing about it is it actually does way more damage than anything else in the game. If I remember correctly, I think your whip does like 10 to 20 to 30 after being powered up, but a Holy Water would go from 0 to 20, like 20, 40, 60, and then 80, depending on if you hit it correctly. So if you hit it spot on, everything will just insta-die, which is quite nice. But it's just nice to use Holy Water throughout the entire run. There's nothing that even comes close to it. Some people would get this game confused with Legacy of Darkness, which was another game for the N64, which was basically this game, but just the improved version because they weren't able to quite meet a deadline or something of that sort. Okay, so I'm trying to skip a boss fight right here by going along this railing. That skips an entire vampire fight that you would essentially have to fight if you were to go on the stairs there. But we can just go around that. So this is the room where that cutscene needed to happen between 3 and 6, and luckily it is 5:30 from the looks of things. So surprisingly a little later than I expected, but it's actually perfectly fine because the whole vampires being at twice as much HP stops between the times of 5 a.m. and 7 p.m. So luckily fighting enemies won't be hard. Okay, so what I'm doing right here is literally a 1-second time save, but right there is a vase of a beautiful painting, which is also an error. But I basically activated 2 text boxes at once there. Essentially, I need to talk to that guy, Vincent, who gives you a key to go into a room that I'm coming up in. But if you activate 2 text boxes at the same time, you can actually cancel the other and still get the key while getting a different one. So there's actually going to hopefully be 2 instances of that. That one was a little one that I found. That's like the only thing I've ever found in this game. It's kind of sad. But it's a nice little save, and there's a like 13% chance to get it in another room coming up later in the game. So now we're going to make our way down to the maze, which is like everyone's nightmare. And while that's going on, we definitely have some time for donations if you got them.
All right, I've got $266 from Strife. This is the exact amount of money my electric company owed me. I don't need this money, but people across the world do. Hype for Castlevania and save the animals. We have an anonymous donation of $5.54. This is the second donation I'm making, but is actually a donation from my daughter, Alice. She's 5 and asked me about SGDQ as I was watching the stream. I explained a bit, and she has been glued to it since. She heard the donations being called, and I explained those as well. She proceeded to bring down her piggy bank and asked to donate it. This is her £4.24. It goes towards saving the animals because, to quote, "Why would you not save the animals?" Thanks for that donation, Alice. We appreciate it. Every little bit helps.
Okay, so the maze that I was talking about, we can actually completely skip as Reinhardt. The door that goes straight to the end, he can just jump right through it. Makes no sense, but he can just jump right through it, and it's hilarious. Then you fight a twin vampire fight that is pretty much just all holy water. You got to make sure you're kind of in the right spots, but like with the first one, you just back up a certain way and he doesn't even move, he just stands there, which is quite nice. This is also the only cutscene that happens in the game that you can't skip, which is interesting. But unlike Carrie's underground waterway, we go into tunnel. It's just a underground area filled with spiders, poison water, other scary things. As you can see, if we're really unlucky, we can get poisoned by them, but hopefully that won't, I'm going to pick that up. Hopefully that won't happen. It shouldn't. There's not too much going on in this level. We basically just need to do a couple slope jumps like I did in Force of Silence, and those should be more than fine. Those usually aren't too difficult, but the one towards the end of this level can sometimes be problematic for some reason. It's like sometimes it just doesn't register. So I'll even try to do like a task jump here. Can never do it though. I try to task jump everywhere, but it's very difficult. So we're coming up on the first slope jump out of the two. Kind of get a better camera angle. Okay. Got a little sketchy there. My first jump didn't go through, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. Sometimes I feel like things just don't go through. But there's also kind of like a little transport system going on above everything right now as well that we will check in a little bit. I'm actually going to activate one here. Typically, you would ride this all the way to your final destination. But essentially, we don't have to because it's actually going to go back right to the spot where we just were. This is also I should probably make a save here, just in case. Would be kind of sad to lose everything now. But you'll see kind of everything running around. All the gates will be coming past here, but it's like, the red one's going to go by after about a minute. And then we have to wait for a blue one, which will happen at like 20 seconds after that. So you got a good minute and 20 seconds to add up if you need to take a break. You got donations, everything.
All right, sounds good. We've got $10 from G. Hazen. Castlevania 64 was the first game I ever bought for my N64, and my 11-year-old self could not get past the first boss. Glad to see the game played so skillfully. We have $10 from Arctic Light 241. Super excited for the Castlevania block and even convinced my mom to turn off her soaps to watch SGDQ with me while I'm home for the holiday weekend. Save the animals. We have $50 from Vera Wolf. Ready for the Castlevania block. Good luck to all the runners, and let's kill those animals. We have a $10 anonymous donation Really great to see the game that got me into speedrunning done. Even better to see Reinhardt mode at a GDQ. Not too good at this or Legacy of Darkness yet, but they're fun speed games. Good luck on the run, Ty.
Thank you. So this blue platform just comes up, and this will be our final destination. I'll also be hitting basically my camera just to reduce lag in some of these areas because I don't want to be looking at any particle effects. So we're just going to take a little stroll here. And on your left you can see we got some boneheads shooting some fireballs. See some Medusa heads as well. And Legacy of Darkness, the other game, this area is actually really problematic because these Medusa heads will actually completely knock you off. Why did I get hit right there? There's nothing here. That's also another thing. I like used to blame Narcissa for it before. It's like a curse. Where there's some areas where like random stuff will just happen. You just get trolled so hard. There's one instance where towards the end of the game, you just walk into a room and you just start burning to death for no reason. And I was like, it happened to me once, and it was like, oh God, it's the curse. It's the curse. But it's like, hopefully none of that happens today. I wouldn't even be mad at it if it happened, in all honesty, but it's like, that would be really unlucky. Okay, so this is the other slope jump that I have problems with like all the time. Okay, we're fine. No problemo. So I will admit that like I was kind of worried about playing carry, strictly because Underground Waterway, if you do watch the speedrun, Underground Waterway is every runner's worst nightmare. It's just such a terrible level. And luckily I don't have to do it because I was not looking forward to that. Tunnel is a much easier and safer way of doing things. Can't complain. So now we get into Castle Center, the longest stage in this game. It literally is about a third of the game in general. Also, a lot of people that I know hate this level. But overall, hopefully shouldn't be too bad. Here I'm walking into a triplet vampire fight, and I'm actually just going to whip all of them. Essentially, as carry, it's faster to use your holy water. And I could have used holy water because if I threw it correctly, I could just insta-kill them. But with the fact that my powered up whip kills them in 2 hits, I might as well just save my set weapon ammo. Alright, so I'm going to try to be doing parkour stuff throughout the run. Basically need to get myself over these rails and jump on rails and jump on everything, jump through everything. I'm just going to be going everywhere. Okay, so I need a couple more sun cards. This is a lizard room in which you're supposed to kill all of them in order to keep going. But if you make it over to this wall fast enough, they should all despawn. Sometimes they won't. It kind of depends on which locker opens and closes and so forth. But if you're just not incredibly slow, they'll actually just despawn as soon as you get touch the wall. I'm also going to be using my sun card here as it is nighttime, and we're going to be going into some more vampires here that we definitely want to take care of sooner rather than later. So that guy will instantly fall down, and then 2 whips from the other one is not a problem. If I was lucky, I could have waited a little longer, and maybe both of those vampires would have met in the middle there and would have taken the same holy water and both died to it. But I just whipped him anyway. So this lizard man here, he is the other one that will be giving me a key that I can do the text box skip with, but he does a bunch of different patterns. And the only chance of getting it is if he does the correct one, which is like a 10% chance. It's like a 10, 12% chance. Can't really decide whether there's 9 or 10 patterns that it does. So I didn't get it there the first time, so we'll try it again. But the item I just picked up, which is everyone's least favorite item in this game, Nitro, which is an item in which whether I get hit, jump, fall in any amount of height, I just instantly blow up and die. Oh, he might actually do it. Oh, he turned the other way. So troll. So actually, like, that's basically almost how it would be. He's kind of got the right pattern, but he needs to turn towards me, not away from me. But we'll grab the key and move on. But Magical Nitro is one of those items, yeah, that'll just kill a run just because you instantly explode if you mess anything up, and it's just awful. Okay, so Reinhardt, as big as he is, he can just surprisingly jump through this window, if I can pull it off here. There we go. Took a little longer than expected, but it's a-okay. So again, we'll be grabbing Nitro here, and we have to bring it all the way downstairs, which is going to be quite a hike. There's going to be quite a few obstacles in the way, especially one room, which is just dangerous, as dangerous can be. So I'll have to make a save here, just in case this doesn't go well. But we basically just have to walk. We can no longer jump. I will be avoiding every enemy that we see, even though the game's kind of nice. Because there's some rooms where enemies are supposed to be, but they're gone because I have Nitro. Because there's no way I'd be able to like go through a vampire killing room and get through with it. These soldiers, they literally just stand there and do nothing. They're not a threat whatsoever. You can run right past them. In this room, there's supposed to be 2 vampire girls that you're supposed to fight, but luckily we don't have to. The only time I will jump is right here because we go in the next loading zone. And this is the terrifying room of horror. I try and do a certain weird clip here. That's not going to happen. And so you can blow up as easy as that. Essentially, there's a really, really narrow bridge right there that I'm essentially going to be clipping through, kind of. I'm going to be walking like right over the holes and the places where it would fall. And essentially, it won't kill me, surprisingly. Also, after that, there'll be another clip where I'll be getting clipped up and won't die either, which is amazing, and I'm really glad these things were found, but they can be tricky at times. It's also different when playing from Carrie to Reinhardt, just because of the size difference. You kind of have to move in different locations, and I went a tad too early on my turn there. But we'll try it again. Okay, like that. It's like, even though we kind of clip there, we don't die, which is really surprising. Now we come up across some cogs here, and we can skip these. The skip for it used to be insanely hard, but I kind of found a method in which I can kind of just stand here and walk straight down, and I'll get it instantly. The skip for that used to be unbelievably hard, where I would have to kind of walk around, fiddle with the camera a little bit, go in a certain angle, and then have to roll my joystick up after getting the clip. And it was just such a hassle. But luckily, there was an easier way of doing it, and luckily I found that probably a week ago. So thank goodness for that. Because essentially, I used to believe that was the hardest part of this run. Not anymore. So again, we're making our way downtown. This is the triplet vampire room, and again, because we have Nitro, we will not be fighting them. I guess I didn't point this out when we first started, but yeah, skeletons on motorcycles? And again, having to walk around them can sometimes be a pain, because they are quite fast, and I cannot jump around them or anything, so I just kind of have to make them go around me. That's just a sleeping bull, totally doesn't mean anything. So there's the 2 cracked walls that we need to break. This one has a seal on it, as you can tell, which means that it will not break. We have to break that seal before we do anything else. So basically our bombs are set, and now we need to grab the detonators, Mandragora. The other funny thing about these motor skeletons is that even when dead, their heads will pop off and they can still hit you. So I actually don't even want to bother killing them. They do cause a little bit of lag, but it's okay. So I'm basically bringing it back to 6 a.m. just so we get like a fresh daytime, which will help us throughout the rest of the run until a boss fight a little later. So this is the Mandragora room where, again, we're just going to be going through some vampires here. I was hoping she would have died quicker. But, okay, that's actually needed. I kind of forgot that I don't have, because I died, you do lose all your power-ups, and we do have to go and grab them again. I kind of forgot about that, which is kind of funny. But we grabbed one there, and there's another one in this torch, so we're back at full power. Not even a big deal. And surprisingly, even though we just grabbed the Mandragora, I think the game still thinks we have Nitro for some reason, because I can go all the way back up and we will not fight anything. There's no vampires in this room. We're still golden. So we'll be making our way all the way back to where that other cracked wall was and blowing that up. So we'll be there in a minute or so. If you got any donations,
I
now's a
actually
great
have
time.
a big announcement to make. We just hit $7 million raised over all GDQs thus far.
Bravo.
Thanks everybody for donating on this. It's a huge milestone for all of us.
Amazing.
We've also got $5.54 from Ragna. Shout outs to Alice for using her piggy bank money to donate. $5.54. Hype! We've also got $10 from Joel Krypton. Good morning to all the people at SGDQ. I wanted to kill all animals, but Nadia wants to save all animals. Nadia gets what she wants. That's my daughter, actually.
Oh, nice. Good stuff.
Thanks for that.
Ooh, like as you can see, particles will really slow me down. But alright, we get into the room where we will blow up this wall right here. Just gotta take some refugee and blow it up. And we go into this magical room. I kind of didn't even realize how like a lot of the sentences that are used in this game, magic is like magic is just everything. And I didn't even realize it till some time ago. But if you read text, you'll see it quite a bit. It's kind of hilarious. So we're going to be making our way up here to a puzzle-solving room. Oh, nice. Got that test jump. That helps. Essentially, you're supposed to find a good 3 different statues in order to solve this puzzle, but luckily I know what it is. So it's no problemo, which will basically get rid of the seal that we need to get rid of. And then we basically just have to go back downstairs, grab the Mandragora, and then blow up that wall. So making our way all the way back down once again. Also, as you can see, right there, sometimes the camera will get in really odd spots. That was one thing that people kind of complained about. Is you'll see the camera get stuck in really stupid spots, and there's not too much you can do about it other than move around and ooh, come on. You can move around and do this and that, but eventually, it'll eventually come back. But sometimes it'll kind of get stuck for a second or two. Either way, it's I shouldn't, there's probably only one room where you'll definitely see it, or you may or may not. But luckily, it hasn't really gotten stuck in too many places so far. So again, we're back in the lizard room where we need to despawn, and again, we can just basically activate them and then deactivate them, and we can move on. It does lag a lot here because essentially those lizards are still in the lockers. And there's also some items in there, power-ups and jewels, and I think an axe or some other sub-weapons. I don't really want to talk too much about the other sub-weapons, just because they're all completely useless. You do have the knife, the cross, and an axe and holy water, and they're all pretty worthless. Some people use the cross. The cross isn't bad, but definitely not useful. And you just stick with holy water the entire time. So now we go back to this triplet room. Please don't jump away from me when I'm throwing holy water at you. So essentially, I was trying to kill her. Oh, that guy just walked in and died. Nice. So basically, I'm trying to hit as many vamps with holy water that I can, because it definitely makes things go by much smoother and faster. Alright, now we grab our second Mandragora. So I'm going to hopefully insta-kill this maid. I missed completely. There's an essentially a specific, or sorry, if you get the perfect throw on that vampire, you can actually just go through this level or that room faster. You do have to wait for their particle effects to actually die off before opening the door, or else you get a text box saying that it's still locked. So essentially, I want to kill them before grabbing the Mandragora, but it doesn't happen all the time. So now we're back to cracked wall number 2. The seal is off. Sleeping Bull is still sleeping. I'll just jump over him for a little bit. It's actually the faster method. And we will blow this wall up as well, which will open up a hole to this giant crystal that basically unleashes all the magical energy that goes on throughout this place. And we'll be able to get out of here. But by doing so, by making that explosion, we now bring this bull. He's kind of awake now. I will admit this is a very kind of gruesome fight. We literally have to tear off his flesh piece by piece. And we'll work on his legs here. Hopefully break those off. No biggie. You're okay, man. And then we are going to work on the head and then body. We are going to look away just because of how much lag this causes. But he's fine. He's fine. There's no worries. He's still going. Yeah, he's still going. But then he's just going to blow up. Just completely explodes. Okay. So now we can move on. Now we go on to the Rosa fight, which is basically the lady that I was meeting at 3 and 6 a.m. This is the girl that I talked to. She is currently a vampire, but there's this weird thing going on between me and her, and it's complicated. You know, a vampire-human kind of deal. So I eventually had to fight her because Vamp is too strong. But now that we broke that seal, it basically activates this electricity or magical elevator, essentially. Powerful magic is operating it. So this will move us on to the next level dual tower. If you got a minute for donations, you can go ahead.
Sure thing. We've got $23.58 from Care Bears Savis. It says Thai Hype. $5.54 from Llama. If a little girl can donate her piggy bank money, then I can help out too. Every little bit helps.
Okay, so now we're going to be going through a few fights here, and mainly platforming. I don't know if I grabbed any healing, which might make this kind of awkward, because I'm going to be taking a really big fall here in a second, and I might not be able to heal it back. So we can basically skip like half the level by making that jump. Yeah, that's more than enough HP. We'll be facing another Were-Tiger, and should be fine. I'm not too worried. But again, if like there's instances where Reinhardt will not... Oh, I do have roast beef. Okay, never mind. We do have it. So roast beef and not quick chicken, but just roast chicken will basically heal me 80% and then 50%, I believe it is. So So as long as I don't get trolled by these things, we should be fine. There's also Medusa heads that have their spawn like randomly. Ooh, my holy water didn't hit him there? Interesting. Because holy water is definitely the fastest way to kill this guy. Oh, I don't have any more. Okay. Don't touch me. Okay, and he will fall down. And now we do some more climbing to the top, and essentially that's all of Duel Tower. As long as I continue to grab ledges. It's a pretty big factor. Okay. So these spiky ones are kind of moving a little faster, but it's okay. And now we go on to Tower of Lag. It's actually execution, but we will be lagging so hard. I'm not entirely sure. It's just a giant area, which it's like 8 frames a second. It's awful. But at the same time, it does make it a lot slower and easier for me to basically jump or do whatever I need to do. So it's not really that bad for me. It just looks really slow. It's not too dangerous of a level. There's lava everywhere, and I'll be jumping everywhere, and have to make some pretty precise jumps. But we should be okay as long as nothing too bad happens. I have to kill that bat because I wasn't able to get off the task jump that I wanted to do there. So it's like everything's going to be shooting fireballs at me, and there'll be Medusa heads that can pop up, and these guillotines that I have to kind of outmaneuver. That was interesting. But with how slow it is, it's like it also makes my task jumping in this level like much more complicated. But essentially, we're just trying to get through this. Easy peasy, should be okay. It's like there shouldn't be any problems. So if you got donations, that's more than fine because hopefully nothing too major will be going on.
Okay, got $50 from Sokol2044. Watching the Castlevania 64 speedrun is bringing back all the memories. Gotta love the magical Nitro. Save the frames, kill the animals.
Ooh.
Got $5.54 from Big Sis 25. Congrats to everyone involved for such a wonderful event. Here's my $5.54. If Alice can do it, so can I. Thanks for inspiring me. Doctors Without Borders is a great cause. $5.54 hype.
Hype.
Got $10 from Plan Tundra. Mastering Castlevania 64 is quite a feat. Good luck to Ty for the run. Oof. Also, shout out to Icy DJ. I know you are watching.
Please don't hit me. This is actually one of the spots where you'll typically. Okay, yeah, that's. Can I see one more? Okay. Essentially, the guy throwing the bone is what hits you, but there's just like an unlimited spawn of Medusa heads. It's just, like, why? I'm fine if it's just one, but more becomes a little bit of a party. And that is Tower of Execution. So now we won't have to deal with that lag anymore. So now we get into Room of Clocks where we're going to have to fight death. As carry, this room is completely skippable, but Reinhardt is honestly too fat to do it. So we will have to fight the enemy here. I will use my last sun card to make it daytime since it was nighttime, and we need to be pretty strong for this fight. He doesn't have any good pattern. He's kind of really random. At the moment, he's being very kind. Wow, very nice. Bravo. Essentially, he can like go everywhere and then start spawning these weird demon fish. Sounds weird, I know, but luckily we didn't have to see any of that. So now we're on to Clock Tower, which is hopefully going to be a lot of task jumping. Essentially, the rest of the run should be very smooth. There's only one more kind of room that can be difficult at times. Very nice. Couldn't do that one. Couldn't do that one. Okay. So this next room in here is basically where, well, the room after this one, essentially, is where the curse kind of happens, if it were to happen. It shouldn't, but this is one of the rooms that's kind of tricky because there's a lot of fireballs happening all at once, and I don't like it. All right, good. Because essentially there's also another head to the left that's off screen that's also shooting at you. And again, while making those kind of jumps, if you get hit by any of them, you're instantly dead, which is just awful. The key, we can just literally fall right down to it, and then make our climb up to Dracula's castle. As long as nothing crazy happens. Again, Reinhardt does need to grab ledges, and he is doing a very good job of that. I do think Reinhardt grabs much better than Carrie. I'm not sure why. It's just an opinion. But we are already through. So Castle Keep. Essentially, earlier in the game, during a cutscene that I skipped, there was this Dracula-looking guy who is very similar to if you've played Castlevania 1. Basically, the good old cloak, cape. His head is the only thing that matters when damaging him. That ugly guy, basically, we saw him throughout most of the game, saying how he was Dracula and that the world is going to be coming to an end. The funny thing about Reinhardt's story is that I believe I can jump through that door as well, which is kind of neat. But Reinhardt's story, he's just an adventurer. He's just a vampire slayer who, he's just here because vampires are here. Where Carrie, her mom, gets killed, and she's avenging her mom. But Reinhardt's is not so dramatic, I suppose. So again, he's also going to be teleporting along or across the map. He can teleport a maximum of 3 times. If I'm lucky, he'll just teleport once and make me hit him. Hopefully, I don't even get to see a single one of his attacks. There's a lot of things that he can do. He can do shock waves, fireballs, flamethrowers. He'll suck you in and try and suck your blood kind of deal. But this fight is going very well. Perfect. Don't even get to see a single attack. Be more than fine with that. And you would think that would be the end, but we got to get out of this castle that's falling down. We killed the guy. Now we got to get out of here. Ooh, sloppy jumping. As you can tell, the jumping speed is quite nice. Gets you through very quickly. Should be more than fine here. But then, well, coming up here, you do realize that Dracula is not actually the real Dracula. It was actually a kid that we talked to earlier in the game. So this Dracula that we'll be fighting right here, that I like to call like anime Dracula, is basically the real Dracula that we'll be fighting. And if I'm lucky, I will be actually able, well, I basically have to listen to where he is. Very nice damage right there. If you put yourself in a perfect spot, you can actually line up to do double hits, which is kind of complicated to do. Very nice, sir. Oh boy. Okay, got him. And then there is his final form. Good old centipede dragon looking. Oh no, please hit him. I'm actually gonna have to run away here. Okay, we should be good here now. Time's coming up soon, and time. It's a very easy fight. Not too bad. What do we get for time there?
46:27.
That's pretty impressive considering 44 is the record, so I'll gladly take that. Very nice. And then you see this insanely, incredibly long cutscene of Dracula dying here, along with a nice little ending. And I kind of noticed it was kind of funny. I know my estimate was 55 minutes, I believe, when essentially it was going to be 50, but then it got changed due to whether it was Carrie or Reinhardt, but honestly, both of them I was kind of expecting to be under 50. So we can kind of watch the ending cutscene here while Dracula dies insanely slowly in this incredibly long kind of phase here that he just goes down into the ground, hopefully sealed, never to be seen again. But again, I'd like to thank everyone here at SGDQ. I'm really glad I was here, glad to be a part of this. Thank everybody for setting this up. It's been an amazing event, a lot better than I was expecting. It's amazing and a half, to say the least. I also appreciate everyone for watching. You guys are awesome and a half, and you know it. Don't let anyone else say otherwise. But yeah, again, big shout outs to Narcissa for making me run this. Wouldn't have been able to do it without you, so very thankful. And again, if anyone else, I'm always looking for new runners every day. At the moment, there's probably 2 active runners between me and another guy who's quite new. I'm trying to teach him the ropes and get him through this game as fast as possible as well. If you ever want to learn the game or know anything, I'd be very happy to teach you, because I'm always looking for more and more. The entertainment is great. It's a very fun speed game. Some people complain about it casually, but as a speed game, it is very nice for both characters, Carrie and Reinhardt, for sure. But so Dracula finally sealed away. We get out of this weird deserty place that he brought us to.
I have $7.77 from Cone Ami. It just says, hit the lever. $5 from Eldiria. Greetings from Norway. I've been watching GDQ for some years now and had some money to spare. Amazing job by all runners and everyone behind this event. Shout out to my friends Simi and Sodi. Grind for life. $5.54 from RS Warthog. Hey, SGDQ2016, Reese here. I've always been a massive fan of the Metroidvania genre, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the Castlevania block along with the Guacamelee run a little later. Put this money toward TASBot's Super Mario Land 2 Glitch Fest. Also, 554 hype!
So again, Reinhardt being the vampire hunter that he has been, again, kind of knows that he probably won't be the last time. But then we see this interesting little cutscene of just roses falling from the sky.
We've got $10 from Brandon156. Thank you to all the runners and those working behind the scenes to make this amazing event possible. SGDQ gets better every year. Looking forward to the Castlevania block. $50 from Ranger18. Castlevania is my girlfriend's favorite series, with Symphony of the Night being her favorite game. In fact, to win her heart, I had to prove myself by beating Symphony of the Night. I'm happy to say I made the cut, and here we are 5 years later, even though I never finished my Richter run. Now tell me, what is a man? Good luck, runners.
Nice. So now Rosa has came back to life as a human. You did it. We can now finally be truly together in this so-called love story. Still a better love story than Twilight. It's pretty close, though.
I have $5.54 from Jim Harris. Let Alice be an inspiration to us all. Here's my $5.54. $50 from Ryujin. Looking forward to another great SGDQ and pitching in for Doctors Without Borders, and happy to see Reinhardt get played again on Castlevania 64, but he looks thinner and with less catchphrase. Also, kill the animals. They do nothing.
Indeed. So now that we kind of have the whole, hope will always prevail, light will always prevail. As long as there's hope, there's nothing we can't achieve kind of deal. And it's basically we just see the castle go down and just like stare at the sun.
I have $50 from Guiltless. Been watching GDQ events for a few years now. Shout out to my pal Saki for introducing me to GDQ and its championing of great causes. First time donating, which I just had to do during one of my favorite Castlevania titles, as 64 holds a special place in my heart. Good luck to all the runners, and thank you to everyone who makes these GDQ events possible.
All right, well, that is that. So thank you guys. Best of luck with the rest of the runs. Still hyped for this Castlevania block. Good luck, everybody. And that'll be it.
All right, Ty, thanks for that run. Just wanted to give you a quick update on the bid war that's going to be ending here in just a couple of minutes.